Hi you guys, welcome back to Cocktails and Questions. I'm so excited to be filming this video today. I just got all ready and I don't think that I filmed one of these videos. I think since I lived in the Colorado house, which would be 2 years ago almost. It was before I got married, and wow, has life changed. I feel like life lately has just been chaotic, so I was like, you know what, I want to do like an updated Q&A, if you will, but make it fun. So Cocktails and Questions is back. Yesterday on my Instagram I posted like filming a new Cocktails and Questions Ask Me Anything, and a lot of you guys were really excited and a lot of really good questions have come in. So I thought it would be fun kicking off fall to do like a little fall cocktail with you guys, just hang out, chit chat, just like chill vibes. I got all ready. I want to light a candle. I just got this pumpkin souffle candle in, so we'll get the fall vibes really going. This is the candle we're working with. It smells so good. I just got it yesterday from Anthropologie. If you guys have an Anthropologie around you, they also have it online. I can link it. It's so good. Also wanted to quickly address the other elephant in the room. A lot of you guys are probably like, Rachel, how did your hair get so thick and longer overnight? I'm wearing Luxie hair extensions, and every time I put these in my hair, I am just like blown away from the quality and like the color match of these. They actually just released new dimensional shade technique. My perfect match is the dimensional natural blonde shade. Like, I cannot believe how well this matches my hair. They have a bunch of different shades that you can go online and match with, but the new dimensional shade features a revolutionary hair coloring technique that gives you a naturally blended multi-dimensional color. If you guys remember, a while ago I actually got some like blonde highlights put back in, and this like new dimensional shade is great for anyone that has like highlights, lowlights, anything like that. The shades are available in the Seamless collection in the 16-inch and the 20-inch. I am wearing the 16-inch Seamless clip-ins in the dimensional natural blonde shade, which I cannot even believe how well matches my hair color. I will link the exact ones that I'm wearing below, but you can do as few wefts, as many wefts. You can make it thicker, heavier. I only have 3 in. I have like the 4 clip, the 3 clip, and then a single and single on each side. So I'm wearing 4 total. But again, this is total personal preference, which I really like. You can do as many or as few as you want. I also really like that you can use heat on this hair. The Luxie hair extensions are all made of 100% Remy human hair, so you can curl and do all that kind of stuff to make it blend in with your natural hair. So I do have a discount offer for you guys. It is $20 off orders of $80 or more, and I will put the code here on the screen. I'll also link it down below and have all their information in the description box for you guys. If you would have told me I would have found a pair of clip-in hair extensions that I would have liked and that actually look good, I would have been like, no way. So definitely check these out if you're someone who's been wanting to get hair extensions but haven't want to bit the bullet on the sew-ins. That can be really costly and also just like a lot of upkeep. These are so much easier and honestly like just so good. I cannot believe it. You guys have to check them out if you're looking for like fuller hair, especially like for events and stuff. I don't wear these every single day, but they are really easy to put in, and they're not like, they don't take a long time. But I feel like for special events, like I have a trip coming up at the end of the month and I really wanted to get my extensions back in, and then I got these in the mail like 2 weeks ago and I was like, wait, these are literally so good. So I'll just be bringing these on my trip with me and wearing them around. Just clip them in, and the best part is that you get to take them out every night. I love doing slick buns. I love having my hair like just down and being able to like be in the water, run my fingers through my hair, and so this has just been like a game changer, and I'm so happy that I found out about Luxie hair, and I am excited to be working with them so I can let you guys know about them as well. Again, it's $20 off if you spend $80 or more, but I will have it linked down below and my code and everything like that. So thank you, Luxie hair, for sponsoring this video. We're gonna go ahead and get into the cocktail and the questions. I went to Williams Sonoma a few days ago and I got this apple cider. It's like a concentrate, and so rude, please do not knock over the tripod. So I went ahead and already like made this. I boiled some water and the concentrate, and I already tasted it, and it like literally tastes insane. I have a cup of ice, but honestly any apple cider will do. I really just got this because I couldn't find the apple cider at my like local market yet, because I feel like it's still pretty early. It's like early fall right now, but this one's really good if you do have a Williams Sonoma near you. I got some champagne. We're basically making like a cider spritz. I don't even know if I said that. Cute glass. We have a cup here, and then we have a garnish. So we have some cinnamon and sugar, which I'm gonna like mix up on this tray. We've got some cinnamon sticks and some apples. So first things first, we're gonna pop the champagne. I need to get my questions out and start answering a few while we do this, which is the whole point of the video. I'm gonna do ice, lots of it, and pop the champagne quick. so we can get this party started. It's 5 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. Dylan's not home and I'm just like doing this, and this is my job. How lucky am I, you know? But here we go with the champagne bottle. I'm scared. Oh no, not again. Okay, here we go. Woo! Winnie and Rue, we're celebrating life, okay? Life and love. I'm gonna do just like till about right here maybe. I'm changing the camera angle again because I don't like not being able to see if I'm in focus, because how bad would that be if I filmed this whole thing and I wasn't even in focus. But I also forgot to do the cinnamon sugar rim, so what we're gonna do is just wet this, pat this on here. Perfect. You could do like caramel, honey. I'm doing spit. Okay, perfect. Hair out of the face. We're gonna do like, I don't know, half a cup of the cider. And then top with cinnamon stick and some apple slices. And it is literally the best cider spritz ever. You can also add Aperol. I'm just gonna do the cider so it's not too sweet. Mix this all up. And that's that. Cider spritz. Cheers if you have a drink, a coffee, a water, a tea, whatever you're drinking. Cheers. I appreciate you all. I love you all. And I thank you guys for being here and showing up to my videos all the time. So let's go ahead and get into the questions. I already said I was gonna start and then I just finished this, but let's scroll. There's so many and I have not even looked at them. So we're gonna start with, how are you doing? Be honest. There's a piece of hair on my drink. I have an audience. Rue is literally sitting on the couch staring at me. Rue, we're doing Q&A. This is your first one since you've been in this family, because I don't film these anymore, but this is what mom does. She talks to a camera. Isn't that crazy? I always love starting with how are you doing when I do like Q&As and stuff, because I feel like from the outside in, social media is such everything looks perfect, everything's going perfect at all times. And I feel like YouTube, which is why I love YouTube so much, you get to see the person's like life a little bit more, and you kind of like get to know what's going on a little bit more opposed to just like an Instagram post. But I've been trying to share like the good, bad, the ugly, the in between, but there's only like really so much that I want to put on the internet. But when it comes to the topics that I do want to talk about, I just want like you guys to know that I'm also just as human as you are, and sometimes I'm not doing the best. So I would say like the past few weeks have been a little bit hard on me mentally. Ever since I left Florida, I've just been a little bit down and sad about leaving my family. Just to be upfront, like my mom had surgery this morning. I was super anxious about that. All went well, thankfully. But she still has to like recover and stuff. I worry about my parents getting older. My childhood dog, like the last childhood dog that we had like of me growing up, besides like me and all my siblings not having our own dogs, just passed away yesterday. So that was really hard on my family. My parents had to go put him down. So it's just been like kind of like one thing after another, I feel like. And then also trying to just like keep a good face and keep positive for the internet. Sometimes like it just gets kind of sick. Like sometimes I just want to like break down on the camera and just be like, this is how my life's going right now. And it's so crazy because I know if I did that, so many of you guys would relate, because that's just life. Like there's highs, there's lows, there's all that in between, and life will throw that kind of stuff at you. And like right now, that's just being thrown at me, and I'll get through it and I'll be fine. But like, if I'm being completely honest, how am I doing? I would say I've definitely been better. There's just been stuff going on, and that's that. I mean, that's my answer. My relationship with my husband, my family, my career, everything is like the best it's been. I am like so in love with Dylan more than ever. I love my family. I love his family. I'm so thankful for that. We have a beautiful home. He has a great job. I have a great job. Like there's nothing really to complain about, but I don't think that that means that I shouldn't be able to like feel my emotions and feel maybe sad one day. I hate when someone's always like, oh, well, this person has it way worse than you, so you shouldn't be able to feel bad. Like I think every single person's situation is different, and you should be able to like moan or like have a second to collect your thoughts no matter what your situation is. So if you're going through something, just know, I need a drink, I'm talking too much. If you're going through something, just know that it will get better. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, and you're not the only one going through it. Like the last thing I would ever want anyone to do while watching my content or like consuming my content is to feel bad about themselves. Like, watch my video and think, oh, she has it so together, like my life sucks, because I am showing you guys the good and like the highlights of my life. So just know that everyone goes through it, even me. I'm a human being. I have the days, I have the weeks where I just want to sit on the couch and cry and rot, but you got to get up, life keeps moving, and it will get better. So I'm doing okay, but I hope all of you guys are doing well, and I appreciate all you guys when you ask how I'm doing and things like that. Was YouTube always your dream career? Did you ever have anything else in mind? I feel like I always see a lot of questions about like, what would you do if you didn't do what you did? I have always been told by my dad, like I remember this vividly growing up. My dad would always say, if you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. I think about that quote like every single day, and I am so fortunate to be able to do what I love, because there's nothing I would want to be doing other than what I'm doing besides like being a mom, which one day, fingers crossed, God willing, will happen. I feel like I didn't like grow up thinking, oh, I want to be a YouTuber. I think it just naturally, organically happened. I graduated college during COVID year, so everything kind of hit the fan and everyone was at home. Everyone was like on the internet a lot, watching videos and stuff. So that's kind of when my channel started to take off, but I did post a few like college vlogs before that happened. I've always been into making memories. I love my family. You guys know this. I've videotaped since I was 5 years old, everything. Like I used to boss my neighbors around and be like, come over, we're filming like a Taylor Swift music video today. And I would like film it. I would sit on my dad's iMac. I begged him to let me like install the iMovie, and I would edit and like watch it hours and hours. And Danny, I would make him like play the parts. My neighbors, like we just had so much fun. And I've always been into like content creation, like video editing and stuff. I feel like I've taught myself everything that I know when it comes to that. But I feel like if I had to pick like something else that I would want to be doing, it would be like maybe the back end, like being like a manager for a content creator, or being like a business owner of some sort. Like I just always have wanted to just be my own boss, and I'm so glad that I get to do that because of you guys. And it's just like crazy. I always like still pinch myself and think like, how is this my career? Like it's really just insane. Few questions about how I stay motivated, and then I also saw a question about share more on your like how I stay motivated, like my workout routine and eating healthy and stuff. And I think this is something important to talk about, because I feel like body image is something that a lot of women like struggle with in comparison, because I do the same thing. What's crazy is I feel like you can maybe be looking at me and think, oh my God, she has the perfect body. I would die or do anything for her body. Whereas like there's things about my body that I don't like, and I'm looking at another gal thinking, oh my God, I would die for her body. But it's just like, I feel like no one's ever really happy in their body. I try to live a healthy lifestyle, especially now with like my skincare journey that I'm going on with my hormonal acne. I've been trying to clean up my diet, a lot of healthy, whole, raw, good for you, clean ingredient foods, which I think helps. I grew up a dancer, which I also think helps. I think it's also maybe just genetics, like that I just have a skinnier frame. But I will say, like, I tried to prioritize like working out and walking the dogs and eating healthy. I think it's just like a mind thing. I don't follow any strict diet. I don't follow any like serious workout routine. If I'm being honest, I haven't worked out in like a while, and I need to like get back in the gym and stuff, because that does like help me for like my mental sake. But yeah, there's nothing like really that I do or follow, but there are a few workouts that I really do love. If you're looking for like a little bit of a low impact, I feel like Pilates and yoga sculpt classes have really been helping like tone, if you're looking for that. Cardio, and I feel like I will preach this till the day I die, 70% in the kitchen, 30% in the gym. Like I was always taught, like it's all about your diet, it's about what you eat, and don't get me wrong, there's days that I like splurge and love to eat like half of a bag of Doritos or ice cream or anything like that, but I feel like at the end of the day, everyone's different, everyone's body and frame is different, and no one will look the exact same. That's the beauty of everyone being different, and I love that. So don't be so hard on yourself, stay motivated, stay in the gym, eat healthy, whatever the case may be, but give yourself grace. That's something I've really been learning and trying to do on my skincare journey, which I see questions about my hormonal skincare journey. People are asking for advice and things like that. And honestly, I don't really want to give any advice about it because I don't feel like I have mine under control yet. But lately I've been so hard on myself and just like speak so poorly to myself in the mirror, like looking at myself. I just don't think highly of myself, and I listen to this podcast and it's like, you have to give yourself grace. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to speak highly of yourself. stop stressing out over the little things that you can't control. And lately I kind of have been doing that, and I've noticed a huge difference in like the way that I feel. There was definitely a time where I was down bad, just like being so mean to myself, and there's no need for that. Give yourself grace, just be kind to yourself. That's really, I know it's hard. I struggle with it too. A lot of questions about how Dylan and I met. So I kind of wanted to go over the story of that if you guys are new. Dylan and I have known each other since middle school, started dating in high school. We grew up in the same hometown, so we like just knew each other that way. He was on the football team. I thought he was cute, and we started dating. He was a sophomore, I was a junior in high school. So that's how we met. And then we both went separate ways for college. He went to NC State to play college ball. I went to UGA to be a dance dog. I kind of had a bumpy like college experience. Also saw some questions with that, so I'm kind of just rapid firing out some answers. My college experience was hard because I started at a community college, and then I moved to NC State and went to college for a year there at a community college, realized that I didn't want to pay out-of-state tuition, moved back to Georgia, finished at UGA while Dylan was at NC State. We did 3.5, 4-ish years of long distance. And then once I graduated from college, I moved back to Raleigh in with Dylan in an apartment. He was still playing college ball for 1 more year. Then he got injured, and so his like football career kind of stopped. And then he ended up getting a coaching job at Colorado State, which we moved to Colorado State. He was there for a season. Head coach ended up getting fired, so the whole staff got let go. Then he got rehired here at Vanderbilt, and now we've been here for 2 years. So our relationship is crazy. It's so weird. This Christmas we'll have been together for 11 years. And the longer I'm with Dylan, I know it sounds so cheesy, but like the more in love with him I am. Like I love, it like makes me emotional to even talk about. Like I love Dylan so much. He's just like the best human ever, and I feel so thankful to have someone like him like be my husband. He reminds me like, oh my god, I mean, am I okay? I have to get it together. Why am I crying? Oh my god, he just reminds me so much of my dad, and that's something that I've always prayed for in a guy, and to find it so young and to be able to like grow up with Dylan, I feel so lucky. And I always tell myself all the time, like I'm just so lucky that I got to meet him when I did. Don't settle, ladies. I promise there's still good guys out there. What was I like in college? I feel like people probably think I was crazier in college than I am. Don't get me wrong, I love to have a good time. Like I don't know if you guys can like get this vibe from me, but like whenever I go out, I'm like, let's go out, let's like party, let's like, hey, you know, like I'm the type of person I'll be out till 3:30 in the morning some nights. But then I also love like a good like stay in and relax type of night, like have a drink on the couch. But in college I was on the dance team, so I really didn't get to like go out and party as much as I would say like the typical college student, which I liked because I think that that helped me like keep my grades up and stuff, because school was never like something that came naturally for me. How do you push aside fear of growing older and parents aging, life passing by? Okay, this is something that has been really hard for me lately, and I didn't know if I was just like in my head about it or what was going on, but I feel like lately all I do is think about how my parents are getting older. And I think it also has to do because like I'm getting older and I'm putting the pressure on myself of like, you're gonna be 27 next year, like what are you doing with your life, like, you know, that kind of thing, like, oh, you need to start a family, like all that kind of stuff. And then I think about my parents and my family. Like Danny's turning 25 this year, you guys, in October. I'm like, he is not allowed to get that old. Like it makes me so sad thinking that he's getting old. And then like today I see my mom laying, my dad sent a photo of her when she got out of surgery, like laying there, and she just looks like older, and she has like bandage across like her whole neck. She's gonna have a scar there. And it's like, I just realized that my parents are getting older, and it's something that I definitely struggle with. I don't think that it's something that I've learned how to fully cope with yet, but I think it just makes me appreciate time that I have with them more than ever. Like I will do anything now to like create time for my family, because at the end of the day, family is like the center of my life to me. Like Dylan, family, and faith is like, if I don't have that, I have nothing. Like at the end of the day, like I don't care what my house looks like. I don't care what clothes are on my body. If I don't have my family, I'm like nothing without my family. That goes for like Dylan's side and my side. Like we just both lucked out like a lot with family. I keep looking at my hair in the viewfinder and I'm like, wow, this looks good. I think my advice for that would just to be cherish time. Time is the most valuable thing in life. You cannot buy more time. That's like the one thing, no matter how wealthy you are, if you have billions and millions of dollars, you cannot buy more time. That's something that everyone wants more of, but no one can have more of. It's just, that's what life is. And so it teaches you to really appreciate and be in the moment and value the time that you get to have with your family and your friends and your loved ones, because time is not slowing down. If anything, it feels like it's moving faster, because The older I get, I feel like it moves faster and faster. Someone asked if I'm going to the Vandy, Tennessee game in Knoxville this year. Yes, I'll be there. So I hope to see a lot of you guys at the game. Lots of questions about kids and things like that, which I want to touch on. You guys know there's nothing more that Dylan and I want to have than a family. We both come from big families. I also saw questions about that, so I'll kind of like debrief on our families for a second. So Dylan comes from a family of 6. I come from a family of 6, each having 4 siblings. Dylan's the oldest. So it goes Dylan, Cassidy, which you guys know, Dylan's sister, Kellen, which is his middle brother, and then Brayden. And then my side goes Sarah, Emily, me, Danny. And we both love having a big family. Growing up in a chaotic family, if you guys have a big one, you know that there's just nothing like it. And if you ever like grew up in a big family, I always like use this as an example. And I like had a friend that was the only child. I would go over to my friend's house and I'd be like, this is just like kind of boring, you know, like what do you even do? Whereas in my house, it was just pure chaos 24/7. And that's how it was at Dylan's house. And I feel like in high school when I would go over to his house, I loved that about it. And that's kind of why I think not why I love Dylan, but like that definitely helps. Like when you get married, you're marrying that man and you're also marrying into his family, and you have to love the family just as much as you love the guy. Or I am a big believer that like it just won't really ever work out as great. Like it might work, but there'll be like arguments and stuff about it. Like I love Dylan's family as equally as I love my family, and I'm so thankful for that. Anyways, long story short, we want a big family, God willing. I think that the older I get, I keep putting more pressure on myself when it comes to that. I think for the past few years, we've been working on like our careers and kind of like establishing life and getting married, like doing all that stuff. But then I'll never forget, I had like coffee with a gal who said this thing to me, and it like changed my perspective. So I was telling her, I was like, you know, I really want to have kids. If I just want to get this one thing done in my career or accomplish this, and then like I'll be ready for kids. And she like looked at me and she was like, don't worry on growing your business or growing your career, work on growing your dining room table. And I'm like, that is so true. Like my career will always be here. Like I can always work on that. But at the end of the day, going back to the time thing, like I don't have endless amounts of time to like work on growing a family. And I always like would say to my dad, I'd be like, the timing's not right. And he'd be like, the timing is never right to have a kid. Like Dylan and I have an established, beautiful life. We both have great careers. Like what are we waiting on? This is me like getting deep with you guys about starting a family. I'm gonna go to the very bottom, to the people that asked questions first. Okay, when is your secret project launching? Can't wait. Okay, this is a question that I kind of wanted to touch on because this is new since last time I have done like a Q&A. A lot of you guys have been asking about the secret project, and it's been something that I've kind of been hitting. I'm like eating these apples. I don't want to share too much because I have been getting pushback after pushback with this. This is a total new chapter of my career that I'm going into, and it's something that is totally new for me. And I just want to tell, and I know a lot of you guys know this because I just do, but I want to just like tell you the name, and I want to just like tell you what it is and when it will be launching. But like there's still some things that I don't know quite yet about the launch. Like I have had to change manufacturers. Hint, hint. The one I was going with, I didn't really love, and I don't want to put out product that I'm not 100% happy with. So everything is very costly. I'm doing everything on my own. This is a whole new like learning experience for me. So the secret project is still underway. Like it's not like that it's been canceled or anything. It's coming. I've never been more excited for anything in my life. I've never put more money and tears and work into something in my life, and I can't wait for you guys to have the items. But I don't want to just put something out to make a quick buck. Like it's something that I am very passionate about, and I want you guys to love it as much as I love it. So just know the secret project is coming. I don't have an exact launch date, but when I do, you guys will know. It's definitely going to be probably before the holidays. I want to say, like, I'm crossing my fingers it's before the holidays. It was supposed to be summer. If that tells you anything, it's just keeps getting pushed back. But I definitely, in the grand scheme of things, these past few months make it feel like it's like taking forever. But in the grand scheme of life, I would rather push it back a few months and be really satisfied and really happy with the quality and the items and the website and all of that kind of stuff before I just like throw it up, put a price on it, and then send it out. Like I want every single little detail to be perfect. So the secret project is coming. If I had to give a hint, let's give a hint because that's fun. It's clothing. which is so exciting. I can't believe that. Oh my God. Yeah, it's clothing. So you guys will get to have your hands on it and be able to wear it and things like that. It's starting small. I'm literally the only employee, I guess, of this company. And I'm doing everything on my own, funding it, figuring out how to go about it. I've hired a few people to do tasks and like the website and the marketing and that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, it's really just me running the show. So I cannot wait. It's been something long time coming. I've been working on it for over a year now, but I just want it to be perfect and I want you guys to love it. So that's the secret project. It's still coming. I swear I didn't bail on it. It's coming and I can't wait. How do you and Dylan keep such a strong relationship through being so busy? I wanted to like touch on this because obviously right now it's the football season. It's like the busiest time in Dylan's career and maybe not so busy for mine. The holidays are coming up, so it will start to get busy for me. I mean, I do have a pretty busy September, but with Dylan being gone all the time, like it is very, very hard, and keeping the relationship strong is hard. I think it all has to go back to like me being strong for him and him being strong for me. If I sit here, yes, there's days where I like cry and I miss him and I feel lonely and whatever, but I'm gonna like pull myself together and get myself up before he gets home so he doesn't think that, because the last thing I want him to do is know that I'm just like sitting here sad. Obviously I let him know my emotions, but I don't want to be like seem like this depressed little like sad girl when he comes home from work, because one, that's only like, those are the only few hours that I get to see him and I don't want it to be spent like moping around. But two, if he comes home and sees me like that, that makes his career even harder on him, knowing that his wife is sitting at home like upset. So I love the season. There's nothing I love more than to see Dylan doing what he loves. He loves the sport. He loves what he does, and it's really like, what do you call it? It's very rewarding when I go to a game and I get to like see him do what he loves. But like all the countless hours at practice and him in the office and stuff, yes, it gets hard, but I think we just are there for each other. I think at the end of the day, a relationship that does well and thrives is all about communication and leaning on each other. And right now I might have to be like pulling the weight a little bit more at the house, or like doing things around the house more because he isn't here. But then say I have a busy month of traveling and work, he pulls it. So it's just kind of like a relationship is all about communication and like taking and giving when you can. We also trust each other like no other. Like I've never had any type of trust issues with Dylan, even like throughout college. I saw a few things about like have Dylan and I ever broken up, and it's so funny because I feel like I should tell the story. Dylan always used to tell me my ex-boyfriend and I only ever had one other ex-boyfriend. I'm Dylan's only girlfriend ever, which is crazy to me. But I used to have an ex-boyfriend in high school, like early high school. We would take like all these little breaks. Like we would like break up and then we would like get back together and blah, blah, blah. I remember when Dylan and I started dating, he told me, he was like, we will not ever take a break. Like if you want to take a break, that means we're breaking up and I'll like never date you again. And I remember being like, oh my gosh, that's like so harsh. Like I can't believe he would say that. He said one time, and it like has always stuck with me, you don't get to take a break in a marriage. So it's like if times get hard and things are hard in your relationship or your marriage or whatever, like work through it, talk it out. Communication is key. Trusting each other is key. Like Dylan and I have never really had any issues with that. Dylan is a very loyal guy, like honestly the most loyal you can find. And I feel like, and I like to like award myself on this as well, I feel the exact same way. We've never really had any issues with that. But I think at the end of the day, like how it all comes back to like communicating and just like being there for one another. I don't know, Dylan's my person, and I am a firm believer in like you find your person or your soulmate and like it just works out, and Dylan is definitely that for me. How many hours a week does Dylan work? It seems like he has to be away for so long. Yeah, it's like literally so many hours I can't even count. If I had to count, I just shouldn't count because I feel like that would be bad. My parents' house after the Florida storms is great. Thank you guys for asking. It honestly didn't even really touch the town. They all evacuated, but everything was good. Lotta, please give us an update on your company. It's coming, you guys, I promise. What is one thing you hope people take away from your content? I love this question. I feel like what I would hope people take away from my content is to feel inspired and to feel motivated and inspired about themselves and their life. I never wish upon anyone watching my content that they feel like bad about themselves when watching. I just want you to feel like, I hope that if you sit and watch a morning vlog, you're like, oh my gosh, even though maybe like my life isn't even really put together, you're like, oh my gosh, her life's put together. She made the bed. I want to get up and be productive and make the bed. Like, I hope that you just feel like you want to better yourself. I also hope that you guys feel like you're just watching a friend. Like, I hope that you just feel like cozy, homey vibes from watching my stuff or consuming my stuff, and that it's just like another friend that you're watching on the internet. I like to think of you guys all as like friends. I don't think about you as like a subscriber or a follower. I like to think like, oh, you guys are just friends. I try to check my DMs as much as I can and like comment and things like that back to you guys. It definitely gets hard because sometimes there's a lot, but just know that like I see your all's comments. I am thankful that you guys are here, and I just hope that like you feel like warm and fuzzy when you watch my stuff, that you're just like, oh, on a weekend catching up with like what Rachel's doing, like you're just like catching up with a friend. So that's kind of, I hope I have like good feel good content. You would think that by now I would have 2 camera batteries, but I don't. While my camera was charging, I gave myself a refill. Can we not rapid fire through these? I feel like my responses have just been like me, and then I get off on a tangent and I need to narrow down some questions. So okay, first up, advice on how to be independent without feeling lonely. This is hard. I think I grew up being very independent because both of my parents traveled for work. So we just had to like grow up at a young age. Like I remember Sarah helping take care of us a lot, and then also just like having to do certain things like my laundry, maybe for example, like on my own when I was a little bit younger. Not that my parents didn't do stuff for us, that's not what I mean, but like just little things here and there. And then also going off to college and then moving across the country. Yes, I was like older by then, but I feel like it made me be very independent. But I think like the main thing that makes me like very independent in my relationship, I also saw a lot of other questions about like, how do I stay like independent in my relationship, like when my spouse is gone for so long. I think that it's really, really important to have your own thing. I'm like a big believer on that. Like, yes, as a couple, Dylan and I are one, but like I have to have my own hobbies and my own interests, and he has to have his own. Like if the only thing I have to look forward to in my life is like his games on Saturday, it's like I don't have anything else for myself that whole week to like look forward to or do or accomplish. So I think it's really important to have hobbies, leaning on friends and family. Like my hobby is my work. Like I really enjoy work. I'm a workaholic. I'm starting like the new project, so that takes up a lot of my time. I love going and visiting family. I love traveling, shopping, things like that. I find that keep me busy. Yes, things do get lonely. I'm not saying that every day I'm not lonely. There's certain days where I am very lonely and I would do anything to just like have Dylan have an 8-to-5 job and whatever. But at the end of the day, it's very rewarding to like see him do what he loves. And there's a fine line. I think the more you have to be lonely, the more you learn how to be independent, which sounds like kind of sad, but I think if you have your own hobby and your own thing and you like find something that you're passionate about, maybe you start cooking more, maybe you try to make new friends, maybe you start taking a workout class more. There's just like things that you can do to keep your mind busy and going, opposed to just like working, coming home and being lonely, you know? What is one of the hardest things you've gone through in life? I wanted to answer this because I feel like it's something I don't really talk about, but hardest thing I've ever had to go through in life would be watching my sister go through her hardest part of life, which I was on the internet at this point, so if you guys are like OGs, you would know. But my sister Sarah, the oldest sister, she had baby Carson, my nephew Carson, at 22 or like 21 weeks. So he was in the NICU for 6 months. She had preeclampsia and went into early labor. And it was the scariest like thing that my family had to go through. We didn't think that he was gonna make it. When he was born, he was under a pound. So he was a micro preemie, and just every day for 7 months he was in the NICU, I would just like every day wonder, I wonder if he'll make it again today. Like, and we were living in Colorado, so it was like a really hard thing because I was far away from family and I couldn't just like go and be there for my sister. And as much as I talk about my family, you guys know my family is my everything, and being away from family was hard during that time. I had Dylan obviously, but it was the season when all of this was going on, so that was hard. I felt very lonely out in Colorado, and also dealing with that, it's something that not a lot of people can relate to, or it doesn't happen to a lot of people, so it's hard for them to like understand your story. So it was really hard. I had to kind of just like turn to God and pray for him, pray for my sister to make it through, and now Carson is like the biggest blessing and miracle ever. But I would say those like 6.5, 7 months that he was in the NICU, every single day, there wasn't a day that it didn't cross my mind that I was like, I hope he's gonna be okay, for the sake of like my sister, because I was worrying about the baby, but then I was also worrying about Sarah even more, and then I was worrying about her husband, and then I was worrying about my parents, and then I didn't really have any time to worry about me or like address my feelings. It was just like a really tough time. So kind of another example of like, this too shall pass. Like I always like to think that like no matter what you're going through in life, it will pass. And maybe it'll pass not for the outcome that you're looking for, but it will pass, and time, I think, will always heal. Also, if you're going through something, just know like a lot of people are going through hard things. Maybe it's not the thing you're going through, but you will make it out and it will be okay. What clothing items would you have in a capsule wardrobe? I like this question. I feel like as of lately, I've been really trying to like develop my style. I also saw a lot of things of like trends you want to follow, trends you don't want to follow. I think it's important to like find trends that you like, but also like stick to like your true style. So like this summer, like ballet flats are really in style, loafers are really in style. It's something I'm kind of like leaning in towards, like the whole like Sophia Richie type of style thing. And yeah, maybe there's some things that are in style that I am just like, that is not me. But then there's some things that I'm excited to try. So like, for example, the ballet flats thing, so into it for this fall. Like, I think it's so cute. I'm definitely gonna like incorporate that into my own style. But I think it's really important to like find inspo. I love Pinterest for inspo, and make it your own. So say maybe Sophia Richie wore like black ballet flats with skinny jeans and a white tee. Well, I don't really love skinny jeans, so maybe I wear them with like baggy jeans and a white tee and like make it my own. When it comes to capsule wardrobe, I think it's really important to find good basics. I think quality over quantity, I will preach that a million times when it comes to like a capsule. A really good blazer, a really good pair of jeans, a good pair of trousers, a white sneaker, a good black belt, good gold hoops, like just like the average every day. I think if you spend and splurge on those items, you can get like little tiny tops and stuff like that here and there at a little bit more of affordable stores and build that in with your more luxury items, and it will make like a beautiful capsule wardrobe. If Dylan's job wasn't a factor, where would you live? I feel like you guys know this answer, but I want to live in Florida so bad. My dream is to have a house in Florida. Even if it's not like our full-time home, I want to live in Florida so bad. I don't know exactly what part, maybe near my parents, maybe near 30A, like somewhere around that area. I just love Florida so much. I hope that we can have a beach house one day. I hope we can raise our kids there. And yeah, Florida would be my answer. But the sad thing is like, you have to go off of like where colleges are, and there's not a lot of really good schools in Florida to like coach at least like around my parents. There's definitely schools in Florida, but they're not always like on the water or things like that. So I think it would be fun to have like a beach house as like a second house, maybe make it a rental, and then live wherever Dylan's job takes us. I told Dylan, and I've said this in my wedding vows, and I tell him it all the time, I'm like, I will move wherever I need to move for you, as long as it's like a good choice for our family. Him and I, it's just our family, but like, say down the line when we have kids, you have to start factoring in like if they're in school, like if it's a good decision to like take them from their friends and rip them from their friends and move them to a new school, like just things like that. I think that's another topic that you have to start thinking about. Obviously we don't have to do that yet, we don't have kids yet, but I told Dylan I'll move wherever. I'll give any place a chance. I think it's fun. I think the movement of like trying new places is exciting. It's kind of funny because like we are here for another year, and the past 3 years we've always moved, and then this year when we got to stay, I was like, wait, I was kind of like looking forward to moving. I love Nashville, but I just feel like it wasn't all what I thought it was cracked up to be. I saw a lot of questions about this as well, so I guess I'll answer this next, like asking if I liked living in Nashville. Yes, I love living in Nashville because I love the location. I think that it's nice because we're near Florida, we're near Dylan's family, we're near my sisters, but we're in the city right now. Like we're like 10 minutes from Broadway. If we stay here, I definitely want to move like out of the city to the outskirts. There's a lot of cute little towns on the outskirts of Nashville, and I don't want to raise like our kids in the city. So if we do stay here, we don't know if we're gonna stay or leave or whatever. That kind of comes after the season. So I'm not opposed to staying, I'm not opposed to leaving, but it all just kind of like depends on what happens with Dylan's job. But I like Nashville. I just don't think we'll stay in the city because I'm realizing that I'm not like a city person. I grew up in like the middle of nowhere, and I just like I don't know, I like being in the countryside. So that's that. Any advice on losing friends? I feel like this is something that everyone goes through, and in the moment you feel like your world is like collapsing, but in the grand scheme of things, it's just kind of like, okay, you're moving on to a new phase of your life, and like maybe sometimes people don't always transfer over into that phase. I've definitely gone through friends and made new friends, lost friends, like that's just how it goes. I made friends in middle school that I'm now no longer friends with, made friends in high school that I'm now no longer friends with, college, no longer friends with, adult life, no longer friends with. Like that's just how it goes. I think the phone goes both ways for friendships. I think that's really important. Maybe you're like, oh, this friend hasn't reached out in a while. Well, have you tried to make effort and reach out to her? You know what I mean? So I think it goes both ways, but I think it's totally normal and you shouldn't feel like, yes, you can feel sad about it and maybe like address the situation if you're trying to make the friendship stay. But if it's a friendship that you feel like you're not gaining anything from, maybe just let it go, because there's a bunch of different people out there that are willing to like be a good friend to you and stuff. It's just like about putting yourself out there and meeting new people. Dylan is really good at giving advice on friendships because I've gone through a few like friendship losses and things like that, and I'm like always really hard on myself about it. But Dylan will always be like, you know, it's just like the next phase of life. That's how it happens. That's how it goes. And you just move on. If a friend is meant to be in your life, then God will keep them in your life. If they're not, and they're not good for you, maybe you don't see it in the moment because sometimes it's hard to see and understand why. But I'm a big believer, and maybe my faith is like stronger than others or whatever the case may be. God puts people in your life for a reason, and God takes people out of your life for a reason. So I kind of just like to trust the process, but also still make sure that I am being a good person and being a good friend when I can and things like that. So losing friends is a normal part of life, especially in the adult world. I feel like no one talks about how hard it is to make friends like the older you get. Like here in Nashville, it's been really hard for me to make friends because I feel like a lot of people already have their cliques. And then like with the football world, the world that I'm like in with all the wives and stuff, a lot of them have kids, a lot of kids, or maybe they're older and we're just in like different phases of life. So I feel like it is harder to make friends the older you get because everyone's just like kind of in different phases of life or things like that. I don't know. Nashville has been a really hard place for me to make friends. Not medical advice, but how are you tracking your cycle, ovulation since being off of birth control? I like to use the Flow app, but I actually just changed over to Natural Cycles and I like it way better. You like take your temperature and stuff. I would highly recommend if it's something that you're trying to track or do. Dream places to move for football. Okay, here's a few states. Dylan actually asked me this the other day. Okay, I would love to move to Texas. I would love to move to South Carolina. I would love to move to Florida, Georgia. I would love for Dylan to coach at Georgia, obviously, who wouldn't? Any like where in the South. I would love to move back to Raleigh. We loved Raleigh. It's a really good city for like younger people. I really loved Raleigh. We didn't really get to explore it that much. We weren't really there that long. But I just like pray that we don't have to move up north because my family's from the north and I just like don't like the cold. And then if we stay south, we like stay close to family, which is important to me. Any changes you would make to your wedding? I like feel like I avoid answering questions of like, what would you differently about your wedding? What would you change about your wedding? If you could, like questions like that I avoid because I hate to even say it, but I feel like I had the best wedding weekend of my entire life. I like look back and I'm like, there's nothing that I would change about my wedding. I think one of the main reasons we loved it was because it was intimate. We had 90 people there, which I mean, doesn't seem like too small, but it was a lot of like family from my mom and dad's side. We only had like, I think like 35 friends there total, like from like mine and Dylan's side. And I loved it because everyone that we had at the wedding, we would like walk around and we just like knew. It wasn't like I was having to like meet people's plus ones or like, oh, I haven't seen you in forever. Like it was like close people that we loved and felt like family all in one room. We also had a bunch of wedding events leading up to the day, so we made it like a wedding. I've been chatting for so long that my camera keeps literally dying, so we need to wrap this up. I have so many questions, and honestly, I feel like I'm going on tangents on all the answers, but I just am enjoying chatting with you guys. I hope that you guys are enjoying the video too. Your YouTube journey, how you got over any fears of being judged, content ideas, etc. Love you. Okay, so YouTube journey, I started in college, like I said, and honestly, when I started, I just kind of accepted the fact and knew that I would get made fun of. It was more so by like high school, college friends, not like really family. If you have family that doesn't support it, that's kind of like strange because I feel like family would support anything that you do or love. I would say if you want to get into content creation, especially when it's just like YouTube, if you're talking like the YouTube side, don't get into it for the money. It's so many hours and it's so much work up front. If I'm being completely honest, like you don't make any money for a long time. You have to really like love it. Like I was saying earlier, like I really do just enjoy like the idea of making a video, editing it and having it for the memories. That's kind of why I include my family so much on my channel, because I feel like at the end of the day, when I go back and watch vlogs, I love watching the ones of like my family and like with Dylan in it and stuff. Like there'll be days in my life that I film and show you guys just because I do it for a living. But my favorite videos that I really truly love are the ones that like my family are in, or like my wedding, or like moving vlogs, things like that. But if you're trying to get into it, do it for you, not for anyone else or for any other reason. And just know that like if people are making fun of you, then maybe those people don't need to like be in your life. Or if they're making fun of you, it's probably out of jealousy. Like they might want to do it too, but they haven't stepped up to do it either. I feel like nowadays though, content creation is much more normal. I feel like a lot more people are doing it than what it was when I started. I mean, I've only been doing it for like 4 years, but I feel like nowadays, like with TikTok and everything being out there, content creation is like a normal career. I feel like influencing has become like kind of normal, which is crazy, but also really, really awesome. Favorite and least favorite thing about being a football coach's wife. Favorite thing is just like seeing how excited and how rewarding the game days are. I love watching Dylan do what he loves. I know I've said that a million times. I think it's also like really hot that he coaches football. I've always been into athletes, and I think it's like a fun, exciting career. It's not just like a boring desk job. But my least favorite thing would definitely be like the time and how it takes away time from me. And then I also think I'll have a really hard time with it whenever our kids start to get older and realize that like dad's gone a lot. There's definitely like pros and cons of any job though, which is what I like to just like tell myself. Like there was cons of my dad's job. He had a normal job and he always traveled for work and would be gone like for weeks at a time. So there's just like pros and cons of everything, and you have to kind of just like look at it that way. We're gonna wrap it up with the last question being differences after being married. Being married, I feel like has been so rewarding and so awesome. I love Dylan more than I ever have loved Dylan before in my life. But I feel like being married, the biggest difference is I just feel like more connected to him. Like I feel like we're a family, whereas when we were dating, it was just like him and I, but now it's like us, if that makes any sense. So it's really like special. Dylan and I lived together for like 2 years before we got married. So the whole like moving in together and like doing all that was already like done. But I would say like the biggest thing would be like now it's like us, like we make decisions for us. Like we share a bank account, and like the decisions that he makes, like he talks to with me about it, and the decisions I make, I talk to with him about it. And like we make the best decision overall for like what's best for our family. But when we were dating, it was kind of, but we were dating for so long that it kind of like turned into that. I feel more connected to him, and I feel like it's just like a more special, exciting type of love. Sorry, Rach was like going ham on a bone in the living room. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up. I have been chatting for way too long. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I was kind of all over the place. I feel like I always am when it comes to Q&As, because there's just so many questions and there's like so many things I want to chat about. But I need to do this more often because I feel like I could just stand at this camera and talk for like 7 hours. So anyways, don't forget, I will link the hair extensions below from Lexi Hair. They have the new dimensional shades. You guys will love them. They're so good. I'm gonna finish my drink. I'm probably gonna go sit on the couch, take off this dress and get comfy and wait on Dylan to get back. It's 7 o'clock, so hopefully he'll be back kind of semi soon. But if you guys have any other questions, you can always comment them in the description. Maybe I could do like a Q&A on my Instagram in like a week or so, or another cocktails and questions. Let me know any type of like other dedicated videos you want to see besides vlogs, or anything you want to see for the fall coming up. But if you made it to the end, I'm surprised if you did. This video is probably so long, but I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, y'all.